So I'd like to apologize for the terrible lighting, but we are having a very stormy weather week, like, you know, 8 inches of rain in a week, and it's continuing to storm, so it's really dark outside, so sorry about that. However, regardless of that, I am here today to film a new book tag, and it is the Night Before Christmas book tag. Hello everyone, it is Samantha. I hope you guys are having a great day. We are now, at the time of filming, halfway to Christmas, which is insane. This month is going by so fast. However, despite that, I am here today to film a very exciting book tag, and it is the 'Twas the Night Before Christmas book tag. I'm really excited about this one. It's created by Ifua over at Fred Weasley Died Laughing, and I cannot wait to do it because it is a fabulous book tag relating to one of the most famous and well-known and well-loved Christmas poems. So, let us get started. So to start it off is 'Twas the night before Christmas went all through the house. Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. And Mama in her kerchief and my cap had just settled down from a long winter's nap. So for that first part of the poem, the question is a book that made you fall asleep. To be honest, any book. Because I've gotten to the point now in my life where I sit down on my bed to read at night and I basically fall asleep 20 minutes later. Without fail, especially recently. Like, consistently I will start to fall asleep. It's really sad. However, if it's not nighttime and I just find a book boring, let me see. What boring book have I read recently? To be honest, any book. Because I've gotten to the point now in my life where I sit down on my bed to read at night and I basically fall asleep 20 minutes later. Without fail, especially recently. Like, consistently I will start to fall asleep. It's really sad. However, if it's not nighttime and I just find a book boring, let me see. What boring book have I read recently? So for this one, I'm going with Wuthering Heights by Charlotte Bronte. Did not like this book. I found it very boring. I hated all the characters. Was not invested in any way. I hated it. It was full of horrible people doing horrible things, and I just did not like any part of it. Definitely something that made me fall asleep because I never felt like picking it up to finish it, but I did, so yay Sam. Next up is, when out on the roof there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. For this one, you are supposed to say a book or a scene that made your heart race. I'm choosing Ship of Destiny by Robin Hobb. Surprise, surprise. There were some pretty epic battle scenes in this book that definitely kind of got my heart racing. I was like, it was one of those scenes where you're skipping over the lines in the page because you're trying to make sure, like, figure out what's going to happen, and like all of your characters are going to be safe. So this book definitely has some heart-pounding moments. And on to number 3, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. In this one, it is an object in a book that was utterly magical, or a magical book. I'm really tempted to say Harry Potter for this one because Harry Potter. However, I would like to think a little bit out of the box, and I'm going to give it to Wildwood Dancing by Juliet Marillier. This is definitely a magical book and is based on several different fairy tales, and I really enjoyed it. She just has a very magical way of writing her books, and it's very atmospheric and magical in its atmosphere, and it is just fantastic. Next up is, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. And in this one, you need to choose a twinkle-eyed book character that made you happy. I am going with Harry Potter for this one, and I'm giving it to Hagrid from the Harry Potter series. I mean, come on, what twinkle-eyed character comes to your mind but Hagrid? He's such a big, lovable character, and you just like want a big Hagrid hug because he just gives you the warm fuzzies. Next is, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. A book that made you fly to another land. I'm giving this one to J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit. I think this is the first fantasy series that really dove me into another land, a land that I became extremely immersed in and interested in and wanted to visit and live in for myself. Tolkien definitely is the person responsible for giving me that first experience. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof, a book creature that you love. I'm giving this one to Night Eyes, Fitz's wolf that he is bonded to, his animal that he is bonded to. I love Night Eyes. He's definitely one of my favorite fantasy creatures. He's just a fantastic character, and I still miss him. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. For this, it is a character that proves to more than his or her first impression. For this one, I'm going with Wesley from The Princess Bride, one of my favorite books and movies. Wesley definitely proves to be a lot more than Princess Buttercup first assumes him to be, and it is fantastic because Wesley is awesome and definitely like relationship goals. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. A book or book character that made you laugh. I'm giving this one to Fuzzy Nation by John Scalzi. This book is one of my favorites from 2015. It is absolutely hilarious. The main character, Jack, is so funny. He's a total smart ass, and the dialogue that he has is so entertaining. This book definitely gave me a lot of the warm fuzzies. See what I did there? A wink of his eye and a twist of his head, and soon gave me to know that I had nothing to dread. A book that makes you feel safe. I'm going with Little Woman by Louisa May Alcott. This is definitely a warm, fuzzy book. I keep saying that in this video, but it's Christmas. Christmas gives you the warm fuzzies. But anyway, this book just makes you feel cozy and safe, and there's something very heartwarming and loving about it, and I absolutely adore it. It just makes you feel like you're being covered in a soft, cozy blanket, if that makes any sense. That's the only analogy I got, but definitely going to go with Little Woman. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings and turned with a jerk. A book that puts you to work, or a book that you felt you really needed to concentrate on. I'm giving this to Bleak House by Charles Dickens. This is one of his masterpieces, and there is a lot of detail and a lot of intertwining storylines. So while I was reading the story, I knew I really had to pay attention and try and piece everything together. All of the characters are related in some fashion, and as per most Dickensian works, you need to really keep track of the characters. They have crazy names, and he introduces a lot of them. But it was well worth it, because I can definitely see why this is considered to be one of his masterpieces, because it is a phenomenal piece of writing, and the story itself is fantastic. And finally, Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. So for this one, you need to choose a book with a magnificent ending. I'm giving this to Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch. I absolutely love the ending to this book. It reveals a twist that I did not see coming in any way, shape, or form, which for me kind of changed my perception of the characters and events for the other two books in this series. It was fantastic. It was definitely a, for me, jaw-dropping, shocking ending, and it definitely lives in my memory for being able to incite that reaction in me, so definitely a magnificent ending. Alright guys, that is it for the 'Twas the Night Before Christmas book tag. Thank you so much for tagging me and creating this tag, Aoife. It is fantastic. I absolutely adore this tag. Definitely one of my favorite Christmas poems. I don't know really who else has done this tag yet, but I hope that anybody who sees this tag and loves it will do it, so consider yourself tagged if it is something that you want to do. It is really, really lovely, and be sure to check out her channel as well, because she has an amazing channel and reads a lot of fantasy and things like that. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy reading. Bye!